Good morning. The Unitarian Church of Montpelier is located on Western Abenaki land, which has long served as a site of meeting and exchange among indigenous peoples. Unitarian Church of Montpelier honors, recognizes, and respects these people as the traditional and ongoing stewards of lands and waters on which we gather. In that same spirit, we respect, protect, and be good stewards of this land for as long as we walk upon it. I'm Stephen Finner, your worship associate this morning. Thank you for joining us in this time of worship from wherever you are, whether you are on Zoom, on Facebook, or watching the service on your own time. We deeply appreciate your presence and fellowship. We especially welcome our visitors from the Unitarian Universalist Church of Athens and Chichiquin, Pennsylvania, and the Unitarian Universalist Church of Delaware County in Pennsylvania. The Unitarian Church of Montpelier is a Unitarian Universalist congregation founded in 1864. We are a religious community that welcomes all as we journey together seeking spiritual wholeness and justice in this world that we live in. Whether you are a newcomer, a longtime member, or somewhere in between, you are part of our community, and we are glad you are here. If you are joining us in Zoom, the chat function will be on for most of the service. It's a great way to publicly welcome and support one another, to affirm the hard work and effort of our worship team, and to share good vibes and positive thoughts with each other. For technical issues or constructive thoughts, please privately message one of our Zoom hosts indicated with an asterisk by their names, or join us for coffee hour after this service to share them there. Thank you to our virtual greeters, Jen Matthews and family, who are offering hospitality and tech help throughout the service. Additionally, on Zoom, click on the live transcript button wherever it lives on your screen for increased accessibility. I have a few brief announcements about the life of our congregation. Please note that there will be no service on January 2nd. Instead, we will be guests of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Delaware County, one of the congregations worshiping with us this morning. Please see the e-news or the website for more information. Church operations and staff will be off from Monday, December 27th through Saturday, January 2nd. All church volunteers are encouraged to also take the week of December 27th to January 2nd off of church business. Let us all embrace a period of rest, reflection, and rejuvenation as we prepare for the new year. Finally, please read the weekly newsletter to learn more about the many upcoming events in our church community. And now, let us enter more deeply into our time of worship with our prelude, which comes to us from the Montpelier Community Gospel Choir, and we thank them for sharing their gifts with us.
Oh, Yes, that song reminds me, we used to sing that all the time in my growing up in an African American Holiness Pentecostal congregation. And so that brings back a lot of great, great memories. Good morning, everyone. My name is Verdis LeVar Robinson, and I am the Ministerial Intern for the Unitarian Church of Montpelier. And it's a pleasure to be with you all as we are entering into kind of wrapping up the holiday season. For those that celebrate Christmas, that was yesterday. Advent wrapped up, as well as Hanukkah wrapped up, and many other solstice and other holidays around this time. I want to not present a service of Kwanzaa, a Kwanzaa service, but a service about Kwanzaa. And first of all, in 1966, Kwanzaa was founded as an African American holiday by Dr. Maulana Karenga, an ethical philosopher, professor, and chair of the Department of Africana Studies at California State University, Long Beach. In a period of social unrest and racial reckonings in the 60s, Dr. Karenga based the holiday on the agricultural celebrations in Africa and the Black Freedom Movement as a way to bring African Americans together as a community. It is a little-known fact that the first Kwanzaa was partially funded by the Unitarian Universalist Association, but this was shortly before the regrettable Black empowerment controversy. Kwanzaa is a week-long annual celebration starting on December 26th and ending on New Year's Day. According to Dr. Karenga, the nightly activities of Kwanzaa are, and I quote, informed by ancient views and values which reaffirm and reinforce family, community, and culture. Kwanzaa is an ingathering of a people to renew and reinforce the bonds between them. And according to Dr. Karenga, it also seeks to stress the need to constantly seek and stand together on common ground in the midst of our differences and diversity. Kwanzaa is a time of special reverence for the Creator and creation. It is a time to honor the past, as well as to recommit to the highest ideals of living, of being, of our values. And it is a celebration of the good of life, the good of community, the good of culture, the good of friendship, wonders of the universe, the earth, history, and the continuous struggle for liberation. The celebration contains a candle lighting ceremony each evening as African Americans across the country gather and discuss the principles or the essential values of Kwanzaa. And like our current values for Kwanzaa, there are 7 of them, and one for each day. Today, we will not attempt to create or recreate 7 ceremonies in one service, nor will we engage in any of the rituals and practices of Kwanzaa as a congregation. However, we will explore its principles by lighting a candle on UCM's kinara that I gifted last year. For each one of the principles, as we will reflect on them. And I just noticed that I pointed to them and you can't see it right now, but you will as we light them. Where can we see these ideas and these principles that I will introduce and we will explore, these African American values? Where do we see them in our lives as we look forward to a new year? Where can we see these principles of Kwanzaa, the ideas and values play out in our lives looking onward? Helping us to reflect on them, I will be offering a few readings by African American writers that personally speak to me in my own reflections ahead of the celebration. As this, again, is not a Kwanzaa service, but a worship service about Kwanzaa, seeking inspiration and reflection. As we gather this morning, let our minds be open to all the ideas that Kwanzaa can offer us. Let our hearts open to the joy that the celebration embodies. Come, let us worship together. Now please join in our opening hymn. And our opening hymn is Amazing Grace. Now, this version is adapted from the field recording of the C.J. Evans Gospel Choir of the Nicey Grove Baptist Church in Union County, North Carolina. This version, which is not the tune of Amazing Grace, with which you are probably familiar, it is performed again by the Montpelier Community Gospel Choir, the small choir. It's an easy tune and you can catch along. So please sing along with joy from wherever you are.
Let us now light the chalice, symbol of our Unitarian Universalist faith. As UCM member Kathleen Poole lights a chalice at home, I invite you to join in lighting a chalice if you have one nearby. This is the season of light. On Hanukkah, our lights celebrate victory over tyranny and the return of the right to practice our faith. On Christmas, our lights celebrate the gift of salvation brought by the birth of a baby. On Kwanzaa, our lights celebrate the gift of the 7 principles of community and the gifts of our ancestors. Our Quaker friends remind us that the light of the divine is within us all. May lighting this chalice remind us of all the gifts we bring to this world of light. Please join us in saying our congregational covenant. We covenant to speak honestly and listen deeply to each other and the voice within. Treat each other with compassion and honor our differences. Take responsibility for the impact of our words, actions, and inactions have on each other. Support each other in times of need and of grief, and celebrate the beauty and joy in our lives. Honor the gifts of the past, and be gentle with each other as we grow. Encourage each other in the brave work of creating a more beloved community and a healthy, sustainable world. And forgive each other and start again.
We will now light 2 candles, one for the first day of Kwanzaa, Umoja, and one for the second day of Kwanzaa, Kujichagulia. And as we light those 2 candles, let's understand what these 2 principles mean. Umoja, it stands for unity. To strive for and maintain unity in the family, community, nation, and race. According to Dr. Karinga, this principle urges a moral sensitivity and caring kinship with each other human beings, all living things, and the earth itself. Kujichagulia means self-determination. To define ourselves, name ourselves, create for ourselves, and speak for ourselves. This requires the recovery of lost memory, buried history, and to shape the world we want instead of settling with the one we have. These principles speak to our first principle of Unitarian Universalism, the inherent worth and dignity of every person. It also speaks to our sixth principle, the goal of community, world community with peace, liberty, and justice for all. But especially our seventh principle, these 2 principles speak to, the respect for the interdependent web of existence of which we all are a part of. Reflect on Fujichagulia, self-determination, and Umoja, unity. And when I reflect on these two principles of Kwanzaa, a poet by the name of Langston Hughes comes to my mind. In the poem, I Too Sing America. Langston Hughes first published this poem in March of 1925, and it demonstrates a yearning for equality through self-identification, perseverance, self-determination. He does this by describing racial oppression and a determined message of identity and unity. I too sing America. I'm the darker brother. They send me to eat in the kitchen when company comes. But I laugh, and I eat well, and I grow strong. Tomorrow, I'll be at the table when company comes. Nobody will dare say to me, eat in the kitchen then. Besides, they'll see how beautiful I am and be ashamed. I too am America. And now for our invitation to generosity.
Our generosity is a form of love and gratitude. Our gifts freely given help us to practice Unitarian Universalism within and beyond our congregation. Each month through the UCM Community Pouch Program, we share part of our collection with an important church fund or a community organization aligned with our values. During the month of December, our community pouch recipient is Migrant Justice. Migrant Justice is a grassroots organization founded and led by Vermont's community of immigrant farm workers, dedicated to organizing for human rights and economic justice. Your contribution to the UCM Community Pouch this month will directly support this work. You can make a financial contribution today by donating online. Go to ucmvt.org and click Donate to UCM. There are options to contribute to the general fund, which supports the general operating budget of the church, the community pouch, or both. You can also mail a check to the church, or you can use our text to give option. Simply send a text message with the word give to 802-266-4848 and follow the instructions sent to you. We are so grateful to each and every one of you for your generosity in its many forms.
And now, we will light 2 more candles, one for the 3rd day of Kwanzaa, Ujima, and one for the 4th day of Kwanzaa, Ujamaa. These 2 principles speak to economics, wealth, and sharing of that wealth, work, responsibility, and economics. Ujima, collective work and responsibility to build and maintain our community together and make our siblings' problems our problems and to solve them together. To this principle, Dr. Karenga writes, it teaches us to recognize and respect the common good in and of the world, to cultivate and harvest it together, and practice an ethics of sharing this and other goods of the world. Ujamaa is cooperative economics. It speaks to the right of all people to a just and equitable share of the common goods of the world. It lifts up and promotes values of shared work and wealth. Where do we see these principles play out in Unitarian Universalism? Where do you see it in your own life? Is collective work responsibility and cooperative economics even possible in our society right now? If not, what can we do in our own circles, in our own neighborhoods, in our own communities? Let us reflect on this as the musical offering from the Montpelier Gospel Choir entitled, Please Be Patient With Me, usher us into a time of meditation and prayer. Thank you. And this morning, we set aside some time now to share with one another those joys and concerns that bring us with us into this time of worship. You may be celebrating something special in your life that you would like to share with all of us so that we can celebrate with you. Or perhaps you are experiencing a challenge or a loss or sorrow that you would like to share so that we can offer our love and support. Art Stuckey, our lay pastoral caregiver, is available this morning to lend a listening ear of care. He will be available during coffee hour and will also put his number in the chat for an after-service call. And at this time, please put in the chat your joy, your concern, your sorrow, so that we can offer you our love and support. I would not be reading these out loud today, but we will hold them in our hearts. We also hold in our hearts those who are in mourning over the loss of Archbishop Desmond Tutu, a great, inspirational religious leader and social justice advocate and activist. We hold those who are mourning him in our hearts this morning. And while you are sharing your joys, your concerns, your sorrows in the chat, I will light another candle on our kinara, but this one will be for the 7th day. So I'm skipping a couple of days ahead a bit. For this particular principle, Imani speaks to this time that we're in our service this morning. Imani, the 7th day, means faith. So I will light a candle for Imani. The principle of Imani means faith. To believe with all of our hearts in our people, our parents, our teachers, our leaders, and righteousness and victory of our struggle. For a meditation on this, I turn to the late African-American writer Toni Morrison. And in her novel, Beloved, a woman who was born enslaved and who had become a spiritual leader of the free community, preached a sermon. And in the heat of every Sunday afternoon, she sat in the clearing while the people waited among the trees. And after situating herself on a huge flat-sided rock, Baby Suggs bowed her head and prayed silently. Again, for a meditation, I offer you part of her sermon to her community. And in the silence that followed, Baby Suggs wholly offered up to them her great big heart. She did not tell them to clean up their lives or to go and sin no more. She did not tell them that they were blessed of the earth, its inheriting meek or its glory bound pure. She told them that the only grace they could have was the grace they could imagine. That if they could not see it, they would not have it. Here, she said, in here place, we flesh that weeps, laughs, flesh that dances on bare feet in grass. Love it hard. Yonder they do not love your flesh. They despise it. They do not love your eyes. They just as soon pluck them out. No more do they love your skin on your back. Yonder they flay it. And oh, my people, they do not love your hands. Those that only use, tie, bind, chop off, and leave empty. Love your hands. Love them. Raise them up and kiss them. Touch others with them. Pat them together. Stroke them on your face, because they don't love that either. You got to love it, you. And no, they ain't in love with your mouth. Yonder out there, they will see it broken and break it again. That you say out of it, they will not heed. What you scream from it, they do not hear. But what you put into it to nourish your body, they snatch it away and give you leavens instead. No, they do not love your mouth. You got to love it. This is flesh I'm talking about. Flesh that needs to be loved. Feet that need to rest and to dance. Backs that need support. Shoulders that need arms. Strong arms, I'm telling you. And oh, my people, out yonder, hear me. They do not love your neck unnoosed and straight. So love your neck. Put a hand on it, grace it, stroke it, and hold it up. Amen, baby Suggs. And amen, Toni Morrison. Now join me in a brief moment of silent meditation, after which we will sing together, Spirit of Life. And now we're going to go back to the 5th and 7th days of Kwanzaa. Since we went ahead to the 7th day of Imani for faith, we're going to go back and light 2 final candles for Nia, the 5th day, and Kuumba, the 6th day. The principle of Nia means purpose. And it teaches us that the collective vocation of constantly building and developing the capacity of our people to be ourselves and free ourselves to pursue an expansive good and come into the fullness of ourselves, Dr. Karinga says. For we are building the moral community and good for this world that we all want and deserve to live in. Kuumba means creativity. To do always as much as we can in the way that we can in order to leave our community more beautiful and beneficial than we inherited it. Last year, Kwanzaa called on an attentiveness to the immediate and urgent need to be actively concerned and caring about the well-being of the world. Dr. Karinga stated that the crisis and challenge are not only the daily and destructive assaults on the earth and its ecosystems, its soil, fields, forests, waters, and waterways, its air and atmosphere, its animals and their habitats, and the resultant disease and devastation, but also the domination, deprivation, degradation of humans themselves by systems of interrelated oppression. This results in unfreedom, unhealthiness, and illness, homelessness, lack and loss of income, police violence, food insecurity, and the lack of access to pure water, income, quality education, and other necessities of life. And this must be resisted and overcome. And so the principles of Nia and Kuumba can help us to unlock our human agency, to reflect on the past, to be present and here now, but to work progressively to create a better future. It reminds me of the poetry and the writings of the late, great African-American poet, Maya Angelou. In her poem, "And Still I Rise." She writes, "You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trod me in the very dirt, but still like dust, I'll rise. Does my sassiness upset you? Why are you beset with gloom? 'Cause I walk like I've got oil wells pumping in my living room. Just like moons and like suns with the certainty of tides, just like hopes springing high, still I'll rise. Do you want to see me broken? Bowed head and lowered eyes, shoulders falling down like teardrops, weakened by my soulful cries. Does my haughtiness offend you, don't you take it awful hard, because I laugh like I've got gold mines digging in my own backyard. You may shoot me with your words, you may cut me with your eyes, you may kill me with your hatefulness, but still, like air, I'll rise. Does my sexiness upset you? Does it come as a surprise that I dance like I've got diamonds at the meeting of my thighs? Out of the huts of history's shame, I rise. Up from the past that's rooted in pain, I rise. I am a black ocean, leaping and wide, welling and swelling. I bear in the tide, leaving behind nights of terror and fear. I rise into the daybreak that's wondrously clear. I rise, bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave. I am the dream and the hope of the slave. I rise, I rise, I rise. So may it be. Let us rise together in body, in spirit, in works, in justice. And let's join Paula Gills in singing our closing hymn, There is More Love Somewhere.
I'm gonna keep on
As we draw our service to a close, we extinguish the chalice and carry within each of us the warmth of community and the spark of hope into the days and the weeks ahead.
We welcome all as we build our loving community to nurture each person's spiritual journey, serve human need, and protect the earth, our home. Now, please join me in welcoming or in thanking our siblings from Pennsylvania who joined us today. Feel free to thank them in the chat. I wish that you can be here in Vermont, but we'll be there in Pennsylvania next week to join some of you in a virtual service on the 2nd. And we'll be back in our sanctuary for our virtual and hybrid service on the 9th. And as we close this service, may the principles of Kwanzaa inspire us. May the joyous celebration of life and community brighten our days and warm our hearts. May the spirit of love and life be with us all and grant us a bright, healthy, and peaceful new year. May it be so, amen, ashe, and blessed be. And we conclude our service with the postlude. We are performed this past Juneteenth by Sweet Honey and the Rock. Happy Kwanzaa, everybody, and Happy New Year.
In the words of Isai Maria Barnwell, she says, "For each child that's born, a morning star rises, sings to the universe who we are, and we are one." Yeah. Oh, whoa, whoa. Oh, oh, for each child born, morning star rises, sings to the universe who we are. For each child that's born, morning star rises, sings to the universe who we are. For each child born, a morning star rises, sings to the universe who we are. We are our grandmother's prayers. We are our grandfather's dreamings. We are the breath of the ancestors. We are the spirit of God. We are mothers of courage, fathers of time, daughters of dust, sons of great visions. We're sisters of mercy, brothers of love, lovers of light, builders of nations. We're seekers of truth, keepers of faith, makers of peace, wisdom of ages. We are our grandmother's prayers. We are our grandfather's dreamings. We are the breath of the ancestors. We are the spirit of God. We are one. 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 sisters. We are the Spirit of God for each child. What a morning star rises and sings to the universe. Who we are for each child that's born. Morning star rises and sings who we are. Each child born, morning star rises and sings who we are for each child that's born. Morning star rises, sings to the universe who we are. We